All right, y'all. The Democrat Party just keeps taking L after L after L after L, and I'm loving it. Now, on top of the fact that Trump's big, beautiful bill passed, the jobs report came in, and we added actually like 40,000 more new jobs than expected, and the unemployment dropped more than what they expected. The Democrats have been having a horrible, not just month of June, but also the last 4 or 5 months, and it keeps getting worse, especially after their darling Zohran Mamdani, the self-proclaimed socialist, became the Democrat Party's representative in the upcoming New York mayoral race. Now, here's where things get wicked. As you can see right here in the title, he has been busted, exposed, because this man was claiming that he was an African American and was using that on his college applications to take advantage of the affirmative action and things like that. And what he actually did, he snatched the spot from some real black person, and people were trying to say, oh, well, he was born in Uganda, but then moved to this place and that place. We all know in America what African American means. And here's another reason why it was fraudulent. He wasn't even a U.S. citizen at the time. So he couldn't have been claiming himself to be an American when he wasn't an American citizen. And this was before the Joe Biden regime decided that they was giving out American citizenship like it was French fries, right? So let's get into this. Now, before I get into this article, I want to remind you of who Zohran Mamdani is. So I want you to look at 2 of these video clips where he is clearly lying and misrepresenting. And then I'm going to get back because some people fully don't know who this self-proclaimed socialist is and why this is so important for you and I to pay attention to, because this is a litmus test. This is the Democrat Party's way of testing progressives in the electoral. They want to see, are the American citizens gravitating towards socialism, this communist point of view? Is this because we already were trying to avoid communism? So now socialism has just popped up, and we got AOCs. We got the Zohran Mamdani. We've got the millionaire Bernie Sanders. You notice how Bernie Sanders never says anything about millionaires anymore? You know why? Because most of them in Congress are millionaires. Now it's all about billionaires. But if you go back and listen to Bernie some years ago, it was millionaires and billionaires need to pay their fair share. Now that they're millionaires, they don't say that anymore because they're not going to voluntarily increase their tax contributions. But check out this clip of Mamdani here. Then I got another hot one for you.
Because I think that New Yorkers, more than they hate a politician they disagree with, they hate a politician they can't trust.
On the subject of trust, you've adopted different speaking accents in different scenarios.
But they go to their local bodega.
Is there one that's real and one that's affected?
What I would say is, as any immigrant knows, having been born in Kampala, Uganda, and then raised in South Africa and moving here when I'm 7 years old, is there are different parts of my life.
Worldwide tour is a worldwide tour is a worldwide tour.
Yeah.
Mamdani was talking about a worldwide press tour back when he was a rapper.
Bring the flavor to the fish, bring the flavor to the rice.
In a Disney movie directed by his mother.
Nepotism and hard work goes a long way. Here in New York City, this is how I speak.
So you got a man whose mother was a Hollywood Disney film director saying that nepotism goes a long way. He's got this strong accent going on in those video clips. It's funny how when he speaks here,
Because I think that New Yorkers, more than they hate a politician they disagree with,
that accent is gone. And one thing about these people that always keep a Cheshire cat grin, even when they're talking about quote unquote not so happy things, or if they're being called out, they're steady like, well, people don't. Nobody responds like that when they're being called out. That's how you know it's fake. That's why people don't trust it. If you notice, people complain about President Trump not smiling, but yet behind the scenes, they say that man cracks jokes, he laughs, he smiles all the time, because he knows that most of these politicians out here keep that fake plastic Kool-Aid, toothpaste smile, Colgate smile, should I say, wide open going like this. And they're fake, faker than a $4 bill. So he just maintains a stoic face, plus a man of you. That way you can never read whether he's happy, whether he's not. And that's what you call a poker face. Why should my enemies around the world think I'm a pushover and I'm some soft guy? Why should they know the intricacies of how I am behind the scenes? It's not important for them to know how I am behind the scenes. When they see me on the world stage, this is the image that I project, that of strength and self-control. But these folks act like everything is just so sunny and bubbly every day is fake. Now, in this next clip here, this is an interview that Mamdani does. And this is back in 2016 when he did this. And he's also going to give some more, revealing information about himself. Check this out.
Zohran Mamdani, thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to South Africa.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure. A lot of people are afraid of the word socialism. And
Notice how the accent's gone in 2020, but in 2016, when he's talking with the woman in South Africa, the accent come back very good.
a lot of people have misconceptions about what it means. I'm a democratic socialist. I actually created a playlist for Mira, who also happens to be my mother. Nepotism and hard work goes a long way. We need our internet because we have all of our kids staying at home doing remote learning. And if you don't have internet, you can't be taught, you can't learn. I was supposed to assist the music supervisor, but I ended up picking all the songs for the film. City Hall is engulfed in corruption. A mayor could change this, and that's why I'm running.
Apparently, you are a rapper too.
I happen to be a rapper. I am a rapper proper. It is up to us here across New York to make it very clear that every single one of us deserves a shot. We had to find a studio to record dialogue for one of the actors to perfect their accent.
It's a weird thing where I know what someone wants to hear, right? I would play to whatever X person needed from me, as opposed to being who I actually wanted to be. It's like being a great mirror, right? You just give people exactly what they want.
If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, because I will never ask you for anything like a Cash App or a Super Chat, but you hitting that like button, it really helps the channel, helps spread the information out. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And if you are subscribed or you're just subscribing today, make sure that you hit the notifications and then select all, because YouTube has been struggling with the notifications unless you select all. So make sure you select all, and that way you'll be notified when I upload new videos. Wow. So he's revealing it right now. I'm going to get back to that article, but I want you to see something, because the mainstream media always wants to project like black voters are just so ignorant and fall for this crap. And I want you to hear this black woman as she really I'm not going to play the whole clip, but just a few seconds to give you insight into how a lot of black people really feel, but the media would never want the rest of society to know that. People like myself, there's Greg Foreman, Black Conservative Perspective, Officer Tatum. There's millions of us out there that believe in the red, white, and blue, that see exactly what the Democrats are doing. But yet the legacy mainstream media, they've got one of the biggest tools, and that is the media. And unfortunately, you've got weak-minded people who don't do research that literally trust what the mainstream media is telling them, because they're going to work and they're dealing with their everyday lives. They don't want to be bothered with that gloom and doom information. So they try to hide from it and think if I just hide out, it won't affect me, when it does. But check out what she has to say.
All right, New York, I want y'all to pay attention to this, okay? We've seen certain Democrats get up and rally behind Zohran Mamdani, an Ishmaelite who is running to be mayor, a socialist Democratic Ishmaelite. Now, who is Ishmael? Ishmael is one of the sons of Abraham, and the Bible describes these people as a wild man. It says Ishmael is a wild man. His hand is against every man, and every man's hand is against him. And clearly this man's policies is going to lead New York to be in Venezuela and lead to people being in ration lines, okay? But what we can see is the Democratic playbook. He wants to hand out free everything, and then he said government control. Let me tell y'all something about that government control. You give government the control, you on your way to the mark of the beast.
So as you see, everybody's not falling for the crap. Now, in this last clip right here, I want you to look at who he's walking with. Now, I just wanted to give you the parallels, because this clip actually made it onto the news. This is actually what Mamdani posted on his page to show his support from the black community, like people are with him. Now, look at this individual. Look at how she's dressed, and wait till you hear how she speaks. And this is who the mainstream media wants to project as black people supporting the Democrats, when it couldn't be further from the truth. That previous woman who spoke gracefully, elegantly, had herself together. Look at who the Democrat Party, look at who Zohran Mamdani, the self-proclaimed socialist, wants to have representing and walking with him and interviewing him. Now check this crap out.
What are you? Are you Arab, Indian? What are you? You look ambiguous. You look weird. You look weird. What the fuck are you?
I'm an Indian, Ugandan, New Yorker.
Okay, so you're African American. So would you claim the African American status like Elon Musk?
No, I would not.
Why not? You're African, but you're African, right? I knew you grew up there. Your middle name is Kwame.
I am. I'm proud to be Ugandan.
Okay.
But I think that is
so would you claim the African American status like Elon Musk?
No, I would not.
Why not? You're African, but you're African, right? I knew you grew up there. Your middle name is Kwame.
I am. I'm proud.
Now you notice that she's got her phone in her hand. That's Mamdani's own film crew doing this. as he's saying that he would never claim African-American status like Elon Musk. Flat out lying.
To be Ugandan.
Okay.
But I think that
And
is
whether
misleading.
and whether Indian Ugandans colonialists, or did you come happy? Did you come to fuck shit up, or did you come in peace?
We came in peace.
And I know your father's a professor.
My father's a professor. My family came from Gujarat to Uganda about 200 years ago.
So the caste system, what are you? Like Brahmin? Are you like under, are you like untouchable? What are you? You look a little light skinned.
I'm somewhere in the middle.
Okay, so you're a piece of shit. And what are you? Are you Arab?
So you notice that he didn't bring up his mom again right there, brought up his father being a professor. Why? Because his mom is a Hollywood freaking director. She's a Hollywood director. So let's get into this article real quick, because black people are outraged up there as well as many others, because just like Elizabeth Warren, just like Kamala Harris, we've got another poser. So black New Yorkers rage over Zohran Mamdani's African-American claim. He's a fraud. Black New York isn't buying it. A slew of black Big Apple residents fumed Friday over mayoral frontrunner Zohran Mamdani's claims on an Ivy League college application that he is African-American, with them raging the socialist poll is a fraud and a trickster. He's just trying to get over. An 86-year-old Harlem resident identifying herself only as Marjorie said of Mamdani, a socialist of Asian Indian descent. Coincidental, same as Kamala. You can look at him and see he's not black, she said. Absolutely not. I don't like him. I don't like him from the first time I heard him. You can look at him and see he's a trickster, she said of the poll, who struggled mightily to make inroads among black voters at the Democratic primary race polls last month, despite his stunning win. So black people aren't buying it. Another longtime local who asked not to be identified, seethed. He's a fraud. He's a foreigner. He ain't no African-American, the man said of Mamdani, who was born in Uganda but became a naturalized U.S. citizen in 2018 and holds dual citizenship between the countries. You know why? Because he moved away from Uganda when he was like 7. You know why he holds dual citizenship in those countries now? Because it would be fashionable for him to try to leverage that to gain support from the black community. But now we already see you was claiming that before this point. You was claiming that way back before you was ever even an American citizen. So what do you know? You're a poser. You're fake. Just be real. Nobody cares. You know, you're from Uganda, cool, but don't come here to America and try to pass yourself off as something as you're not. We all know African American in America versus being considered an African are two totally different things. Completely. And if you don't know, now you do know. People think like, oh, go back to Africa. People in Africa, the blacks in Africa, do not look at African Americans the same as they do their brothers and sisters in that continent. They almost look at us in America as like whitewashed, kind of in a sense. We're Americanized. We're not like them. So I don't know why people believe there's just this major cohesion. It's not. There's a huge difference. And I guess if you're not black or if you're not African, you wouldn't really know that. But there's a big difference. So people say, hey, why don't you just go back to Africa? What? I'm from America. I'm as American as anybody else. There's nothing over there for me. My family's not there, wasn't grown up there, don't know anything about it, and I would not be accepted there because I'm an American. So for this fraud to do that is BS. Now I'm right here. A Bronx resident named Joshua added, he's a liar, point blank period. We don't need a lying mayor or a mayor that says he's black so he can get black people to vote for him. We black, he said, we ain't stupid. Mamdani, a Democratic socialist, had checked off the black or African-American and Asian boxes on his 2009 Columbia University application regarding his race, the New York Times reported last week. The university where Mamdani's father was and still is a professor had affirmative action friendly admissions policies at the time, which the poll's critics allege he may have been trying to take advantage of. Either way, Mamdani failed to get into the prestigious school. Mamdani told the Times that while he doesn't consider himself black or African-American, he is an American who was born in Africa and simply felt the other choices on the form didn't fully address who he is. But when asked by a performance artist on the street in April whether he considers himself African-American, he admitted it would be misleading to say so. A Bronx resident said Mamdani's claim in 2009 was shameful. Always knew something was off about him, said Maria, 37, to the Post. Why are you claiming something that you are not? You could have potentially took away an opportunity from somebody else. And that's the Democrat Party in a nutshell. And I appreciate you for watching this, even if you're not black, because if for nothing else, it's to be informative, to see what these Democrats are willing to do to gain a vote, the type of skullduggery. They will lie about who they are. They will disrespect their families. Kamala Harris disrespected her Indian heritage to proclaim black, and it turned off the Indian community. And then it turned off the black community, talking about cooking greens in the tub, making people think that black folks do nasty crap like that. Or Mamdani with his rap career, now he think he can claim he black. It's not about you rapping and dancing. It's about the struggle. It's about everything that had to happen where everybody in this country can be together. It's about the history that made it to where we are now, to think about how it was in this country and where it is now, why anybody else would ever proclaim, oh, it's so bad in America, we should take down those statues. No, we need to keep them all up as a reminder of how far we've come. I saw Wesley Hunt, the Republican from Texas, the congressman from Texas, who is a Republican, who is a black Republican, who graduated from West Point, who lived in the Robert E. Lee Hall, who when Bill Maher asked, hey, you know, they want to take down the lead, don't you? Do you agree with that? He said, no. He said, because where else on the planet other than America can the descendant of slaves walk through and live in the barracks of a Confederate general, graduating from the same exact school? Only in America do we have stories like that. And our past is what makes us who we are. Or like Whoopi Goldberg with her ignorant self saying that being a woman in Iran, being black in America is like being a woman in Iran. She is insane. And these people go so far with their propaganda that they sound nuts. This is one of the greatest times in American history. Where else can people feel free enough to stand on public corners and disrespect the president of the United States without fear of retribution or going to jail? Try that in another country and they'll have your head. So I just wanted to bring this story showing just how fake, and this just torpedoed. He wasn't going to win anyway, but this just torpedoed it. And rightfully so. Elizabeth Warren, she did the same thing, claiming that she was Native American, took all types of opportunities from people. And she as white as George Washington. Mamdani, he's an Asian Indian. He is Kamala Harris and tried the same BS. Just be who you are. People would have supported you as an Asian Indian. People would, if they supported Kamala Harris, would have supported her just being an Indian with Jamaican or Irish parents, Indian and Irish descent. If you are black, be that. If you're white, be that. But be proud of who you are, and other people will respect it. But when you can't even be proud of who you are and you lie, how do you expect anybody else to be proud of you? So, hey, just my 2 cents. If you enjoyed this video, do me a solid. Leave a comment, hit that like button. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And then most importantly, I want you to stay safe and you be great. I'm Brian Maxwell saying I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.